Hi guys! I was playing my game Dustwood, but the mini games were making me mad, so I decided to take a break. So it made me mad. It's almost 1 o'clock. I'm tired. I don't know how long I'm gonna be on, but I thought I would end the night with a creepy story. The Hollowed-Eyed Caller. In the forgotten village of Morrow's End, nestled between thick pine woods and mist-choked marshland, the phone still rang. Though no one had cell service and the landlines hadn't worked since the last storm decades ago. It began one rainy October evening, the kind where the sky weeps long past nightfall and the roads vanish under the black water. Eileen Morin, a college student visiting her late grandmother's empty house, had only meant to stay the weekend to sort through old boxes and decide if the house was worth selling. She never made it past the first night. The place was stale with disuse. Dust clung to every corner. The air smelled faintly of lavender, old wood, and something metallic. Yet the rotary phone in the hallway, beige and yellowed, remained on the wall, its coiled cord like a sleeping snake. Isla didn't even notice it until it rang. She jumped, dropping the flashlight she had been using. The house had no power, yet the phone's shrill, old-fashioned ring echoed clearly. She answered it. A woman's voice, soft and urgent, whispered, "Don't let him in." Static followed, then silence. Startled, Isla laughed nervously and chalked it up to cross wires or leftover recordings. She hung up. 10 minutes later, it rang again. This time, a child spoke. "He has no eyes. He looks anyways." Click. She yanked the phone from the wall, heart pounding. But at midnight, it rang again from the floor, unplugged. That was the first time she saw him. Through the rain-blurred windows, a tall man stood under the dead oak in the yard, motionless, pale, wearing a long, wet coat. His face was turned up at the house, though that distance Isla couldn't see his features. Still her breathing caught. Something about him felt wrong, like a photo out of focus. She turned to fetch her phone, maybe to call someone, maybe to just feel less alone. When she turned back, he was gone. But the house had gone colder. That night, she heard footsteps upstairs. Slow, heavy, measured. She hadn't gone up yet. Every light she had tried didn't work, and her flashlight battery was fading. At 2:37 a.m., the phone rang again. A man's voice this time. Calm, familiar. "You look just like her." The girl who opened the door. Click. Isla did not sleep. By dawn, she made up her mind to leave. She packed her bags, grabbed the old deed papers, and opened the front door and froze. On the porch mat, wet boot prints leading in. She slammed the door shut, backed away, and then slowly she turned. The hallway phone was off the wall now, lying in the middle of the hallway, ringing. But it wasn't the sound of the phone this time, it was the whisper, repeating her name over and over. She ran to the shed behind the house, found the breaker box, and flipped every switch. Nothing, no power. But when she came back inside, the house lights were on, and every mirror in the place had fogged over except for one. The full-length mirror above the stairs showed her reflection, and behind her, the man. Closer now. Too close. A pale face with hollow, gouged-out sockets where nothing but darkness swirled. She spun around. Nothing. She ran. She never packed. She never came back. But to this day, every October, she gets a call from a block number at 2:37 a.m. and a voice says, "You left the door open. He's still looking." Isla tried to forget. She moved to the city, changed her number, burned the old photos and the deed papers to Marrow's Inn, but the dreams still came, thick and warped like film reels melting through a projector. In them, the house stood unchanged, windless, brooding, waiting, always waiting. Sometimes the oak outside would creak, despite no breeze. Sometimes she would see the reflection step away from the mirror, turn and whisper, "You left him behind." 2 years passed. Then, on her 25th birthday, she received a gift. No card, no return address, wrapped in plain brown paper. Inside, a rotary phone handset, cracked, yellowed, a line of ash smudged across the receiver. When she touched it, something hissed in her ear. The door opened again. She told herself she wouldn't go back, but some places don't let you choose. And some houses are made of wood and nails, but memory, shadow, and promises you didn't know you made. When Isla returned to Marrow's Inn, the sky was the same leaden gray. Mist crawled over the road like lost souls. And the house, it hadn't aged. Not one shutter out of place. No leaves piled on the porch like it had been waiting. There was a phone cord curled as on the welcome mat. Just the cord, no phone. Inside, the lights didn't work. The mirrors were all covered now, white sheets tucked tight. But under each one was the faint outline of breath inside the glass. She felt eyes on her back with every step. Upstairs, her grandmother's bedroom was untouched, except for the phone, restored, wall mounted, and ringing. This time she answered with steady hands. The voice on the other end rasped, "He remembers your name." She hung up. The floor groaned behind her. There was a mirror uncovered in the hallway. She hadn't touched it. In it, she saw the man again, closer than ever. His eyeless sockets seemed to pulse with ink silence, but now he was smiling, a mouth far too wide. That night, she dreamed of the oak tree. Its branches were longer bare. They were full of things, bells, bones, little dolls with her face stitched onto them. She walked barefoot through the marsh, but her feet left no print. The fog peeled back like curtains to reveal the house. But inside, it wasn't wood and furniture, it was mirrors, endless, stretching like corridors into a forever that whispered and watched. One mirror showed her reflection, young, 9 or 10, her grandmother brushing her hair. Another showed her now older, afraid and cracking, and another showed the man. He stood behind her in every reflection, and when he reached out, his hand passed through the glass like it was water. She woke, screaming, but she wasn't in her bed. She was inside the mirror hallway. There are places in the world where reality frays, where what you see, what you sees overlaps like layers of dust and memory. Marrow's Inn was one of those places. Isla didn't know the rules, but she remembered the calls, the warnings. Don't let him in. She stood before the final mirror, one without her reflection, just the house, the porch, the oak, and him. He stepped forward and she stepped through. For the first time, she saw his face. Not eyeless, just empty. Like someone had hollowed out everything inside and left a shell behind. He raised his hand toward her slowly in his palm, a key carved from bone. The key turned in the air between them. The house around her began to tremble. The mirrors cracked and the phone rang and rang and rang. She grabbed the key and the door slammed shut. In the city, Alice's phone no longer rings at 2:37 a.m. She doesn't see the man in her dreams. But every so often, when she passes a mirror, she pauses just to check. Sometimes she swears she sees the oak behind her or hears a faint, distant phone ring. But the house? It's gone now, burned to the foundation. The neighbors said it lit up the sky one night with no lightning, no storm, just fire. All that remained in the ashes was the rotary phone, still warm and off the hook. Well, there's your creepy story for the night. Thanks for staying. Have a good night, guys. Night.